Boom. What is good, everybody?
Let's go. Look at that cold fucking
cold open. Got a nice little cold open on you, you know?
It's a good thing I had my shirt on, Adam.
Well, you had it off for me earlier, you know? Mike, I'll be honest with you. I'm shocked by a few things. One, super chat early in the game.
God
Two,
damn.
I mean, yeah, I rushed over here. Look what we got, buddy, you know?
Just from, that's it. No question. Just showing love. Love it.
6 Dynasty rings, you know? 6 rings Dynasty.
I love the flex. It's good flex. What's good, everybody? Wednesday night AMA. We're here live and in the building. Adam, I might be enjoying, a little breaking news for you. Might be enjoying one of my last Wednesday night AMA hardcore vodkas. You know?
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on.
Yeah. Might be sober, Mike.
We're going to talk about DK Metcalf, but I think we have better breaking news. What do we got here?
Yeah. No. Your boy took the cheating method, right? So, I've been working out and trying to get fit or whatever.
Yeah.
Got prescribed that shot, though, that fat boy shot. And a lot of people say they don't do very well with alcohol on it. Like, it's not, you almost just throw that shit away because you get so sick off of it. So, we'll find out. I could be a trooper. I may be able to power through, but yet to be seen. We still good for today.
Okay. I like it.
So we got one more ride in us for sure.
One more big ride. Let's go.
For sure. What kind of flavor is that? What you got over there? Light
I'm enjoying the winter before it's over.
Shit. We got
Eric just put me on. He made me buy the new spring coming up. So it's already out.
All right. Yeah, we got a little bit more winter over here today, which was bullshit.
Did you?
We had nice 50-degree weather the last couple of days.
So we're going to get that tomorrow. Yep.
School got canceled. It's like 60-mile-an-hour winds. There's that white shit falling, and it's not that good white stuff, like that kind of good stuff, snowfall. Shout out to that show. Not that kind of white stuff. Sucks. Winter's like, I'm not letting go.
Winter's like, fuck you. Winter is still here. Yeah, we got a longer winter. Well, let me just ask you then, speaking of winter and things, what do you make of this? DK Metcalf asked for a trade.
Yep.
And the reason cited, I think, was the most interesting part. Doesn't really, kind of the Myles Garrett claim all of a sudden. We weren't expecting that out of Seattle. He says, I'm not going into rebuild. I want to play for a contender. The change of what's going on over there seems like an interesting tidbit for the Seahawks as a whole.
Does he really think they're going into a rebuild?
Well, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, like Cleveland, definitely. Like, that one made sense.
Well, that's
You're already there.
Cleveland doesn't. They're the only people, everyone running the Browns, that thinks they're not going into a rebuild. Everybody.
I think the problem with Seattle is, like, the biggest thing, and I can probably get behind this on DK's mind, Geno Smith ain't that great of a quarterback, man. He's very...
Oh, the purple's mid too? Damn, okay.
He's very meh. Like, you know what I mean? He's like the purple. Like
I love it.
The purple. He's like the purple. Like, it's good enough.
It's like his color of his hair, it's mid.
With Geno Smith as your quarterback, though, like, you maybe make the playoffs and then get bounced right away. That's
he's good enough to keep you at the he's like Kirk Cousins, honestly. Not really much different.
The worst part is they're always going to be, like, good enough to not ever really draft a quarterback high to, like, this is going to be our dude. Like, this is going to be the one to take us. And it's a shitty spot to be. Now, good news for them, it looks like the 49ers are completely falling apart, and the Rams just keep getting older and keep trying to run it back with Matt Stafford, and Kyler Murray can never seem to put it all together. So, like, it's a winnable division, but I don't know. I guess I kind of get where he's coming from. I do.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, same conversation. And this is not even about a rebuild. They cut Tyler Lockett, and you probably saw that coming a mile away, especially after JSN's rise. Let me ask you: do you think that has something to do with it?
That he sees JSN coming, and he's like, "I'm not the."
This is the first time in his it's his first time since his tenure, basically, that, like, because Tyler Lockett, I feel like, was not the threat because he's he's an older player, right, veteran. So,
I mean, DK seems like a real prideful player, and rightfully so. I mean, he's definitely built to be a prideful dude. So maybe that does play into it some. Like, I want to be the clear him. I want to be him.
Well, because if you just looking at his splits last year, I mean, early on, before JSN's second year breakout really took place, DK was off to a pretty decent little start. Probably the best start he had since when Russ was actually cooking, which is that kitchen ain't been open for a while, but that's neither here nor there.
That kitchen burned down years ago.
But once JSN really started coming along, I'll pull up the actual splits, but once JSN really started to, take hold as the clear alpha as far as targets, DK was like finishing, for fantasy purposes, we're talking in the 30s almost consistently. It just felt really rough. So I'm wondering for him if, he sees JSN as this target hog, if that has something to do with it. He thinks maybe the direction of the team, what they're doing with, some of their roster moves, that they're not actually looking to win. Do you have any qualms with it? Do you think he should want to stay, or where do you side with him? What's best for him in fantasy?
Nah, I'm probably going to land on the DK side here. Go do what's best for you, right? These NFL teams have no concerns when it comes to doing what's best for the team, right? The organization. We hear that shit all the time, and you're seeing dudes get cut left and right, right? The very few organizations have been like what Philadelphia did, and I think other organizations are pissed off about that, to be completely honest, right? Saquon, they got him on a deal, right? Saquon outperforms his deal, and they're like, we're just going to nip this shit in the bud, man. Here's $20 million a year. We're giving you an extension right now. Thank you. We don't have to, but we're going to do it. Not a lot of NFL organizations operate that way, and especially the Bengals, who we can never really work out a deal with T. Higgins, so we're just going to franchise tag him 2 years in a row because fuck you, we're Cincinnati and we're cheap.
Wow. So forget about the other receiver there that doesn't have
doesn't have a deal yet. But anytime a player who's good in the league and still performing, it wants to flex their muscles a little bit, which is kind of funny to say when it comes to DK. He's got a lot of them to flex.
Look at D-Walk. He just set you up for that, right? Flexing his muscles. Triceps on the screen. Holy, it's a wide receiver. The hell?
I'm gonna be looking like DK here in 6 months. You just wait. It's coming.
I don't think anyone doubts you, buddy. I don't know.
But yeah, go get yours, man. Use whatever power that you have to kind of make the situation what it is, and go get your happy place. Go get the place that you're going to feel loved and respected, and kind of like A.J. Brown when he got up out of Tennessee, right? There at the end, wasn't too happy. Fucking pay me. They didn't really want to. So fuck it, trade me. Goes to Philly. Think he likes it there now. Think he's having a pretty good time. Which is also weird, too, because I saw some A.J. Brown trade rumors, but they all seem to be coming from teams that aren't the Eagles. Right?
Well, so
everybody else wants to trade for A.J. Brown. Imagine that.
I guess here's the thing, right? I'm with you. If he thinks that if they're not aligned with each other at this point, I think Seattle even said they're going to explore a trade. But the way that's phrased to me is we're going to explore a trade, which we're not going to find. It's not. This isn't Deebo Samuel, okay? So let's not get that twisted. But Deebo basically they gave him away because they're just looking to get rid of the money, right? Mm-hmm. At this point in DK's career, I'm not saying he won't have better suitors, but what are they going to send when they know that they got to take on the money and send the pick, right? And what's the market going to look like for DK? And at the end of the day, is Seattle going to take whatever that compensation is, or DK Metcalf? And curious what you think. I kind of feel like they're not going to get the offer that they would be asking for.
I think they probably ask for too much, but I would imagine if some team comes and offers them a first, they say goodbye.
I think he's gone. I would definitely agree.
And there's teams out there that I think would. So let's talk about that one, Adam.
Yeah, let's do it. Because I was just looking at a tweet, but we're going to get to the what the fuck tweet of the week. This isn't that bad, but I'm told there's a team willing to give at least a third. Well, great.
No shit.
that was Josina Aniston, for those that want to know.
Appreciate you, Josina.
Nice little cushy job,
By the way, Josina, can you let me know if it was really Alshon who was the one who blew up the Eagles locker room in 2018?
You know what's really kind of messed up, though, Mike? I set her up because I called in saying I was one of those teams that would give a third. South Harmon would trade a third easy.
We will trade a third. I give all my thirds across 60 leagues. All 60.
But if they're okay, what are the teams? Let's talk about the teams. What are the teams you think that would be? Let's just talk interest first before we talk what they'd pay.
Yeah, Buffalo.
I think so. I think they would be. Yeah.
Yeah. Why not? Why not Buffalo?
Yeah. No, I agree.
New England.
I think So I think this is where the conversation is very different, and the same trade concept. But listen, New England has the money and the situation to take him on. Now DK, I don't know if he has a trade clause in his contract. He may be like, nah, New England's not a fucking contender. But those are the type of teams, Mike, that would be willing to probably give up more of the compensation because they have tons of money to spend as well.
DK on the Ravens?
Ooh. I don't love it, honestly.
Because it's the Ravens?
Just cause, yeah, I mean they already got Zay Flowers. Like I feel like you'll get kind of the same thing, you know.
Well, DK better than Zay Flowers.
No, but I'm saying with Zay Flowers' presence will be kind of similar, in my opinion, to JSN's, where it will kind of nuke his upside in fantasy. Of course,
okay.
I get your point.
Steelers?
That's intriguing. Well, Steelers will also be interesting to see what they do at QB. I've heard rumblings that they prefer to go with Justin Fields of the two quarterbacks they have on the roster.
Texans.
That could be interesting. Right? You got the Diggs injury, you got the Tank Dell injury, and you got CJ Stroud on a rookie deal. You're looking to elevate him. That would be a crazy monster trade. I could see it though.
It'd be a couple monster wide receivers lined up on each side of each other. That would be pretty fucking special, right?
For sure. But the Texans and the Patriots are the teams you mentioned. Quarterbacks on rookie deal. When you have a quarterback on a rookie deal, that's your opportunity to have a cheat code, right? That's where you can really exploit this type of a trade.
Jaguars.
Ooh, that's an intriguing one because you saw they cut Christian Kirk, right?
Yep, getting rid of Christian Kirk. Broncos.
There you go. I think that would be possibly one to like thread the needle low key.
Raiders.
Russ is gone, but because Bo Nix, Cortland Sutton, I think is getting older too. Raiders reunite with Pete Carroll.
Yep, and they draft a rookie quarterback.
I think he would. I think he might, if he actually has a true feeling of not being a contender. I don't know that he's going to love going to Vegas, but I could see it. Yeah, I think they'd be in the buyer's market.
Packers.
You know what's crazy? That one makes sense, and I don't know if you saw this, but and a lot of his teammates were low key fucking pissed about this. I don't know if you saw Josh Jacobs. He's on an interview, not an interview. He's just on a podcast, whatever. And he basically came out and said, like, I think we got a lot of good receivers, but we really need that true number
Alpha.
one. Yeah. He literally said true number one. It's funny, Jaden Reed and a lot of guys were, throwing the little emojis in response to that. It's crazy. But I could see that would be
what was actually true,
Well, no, I mean it's just funny that because your teammates are going to hear some shit like that. But
yes.
I think that would be interesting for sure. What?
Falcons.
I mean, again, the Penix rookie deal, that would be crazy. That would be a loaded roster.
Panthers.
So here, look, Noah just put this in the chat. Dude, this is crazy. I was about to pull this up. And you say Panthers. Carolina makes sense and is not talked about. I think that's actually a pretty nice little pool. Bryce Young had a very surprising and good finish to his season. They definitely need to improve weapons for him. I mean, Deontay starting the season, but then gone. Jalen Coker. I mean, they have a huge need at that position. I like that one a lot.
There's quite a few of them. Yeah, I throw Arizona in the mix, but since it's interdivision, I highly doubt that.
That point, as well as the fact that like, I kind of feel like when you have a guy like Marv, and you're wanting him to improve this year, the last thing I think they're going to want to do because they invested so much is like bring in potential alpha target on the other side. DK and my boy Drake May would cook. I really actually kind of like that. I feel like DK, if there's any truth to this contender thing, though, will be like, the fuck are you going to send? You send me to New England? I don't know if he has – does he have any does he have a no-trade clause? Where he gets to pick his team? Some of these receivers actually do.
I would doubt he does, but maybe. You might have a real good agent.
Because that's what – remember when Adams had that? Adams basically was like, listen, I got you by the balls. Yeah. You're going to trade me to whoever I want.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. I'll pull that up. Anyway – what do you think the compensation would actually look like? And then, of the teams that you mentioned, which one would be beneficial for both him and the quarterback there in fantasy?
If you're talking the Patriots, it's probably their second, which would be an early second plus something, I would imagine, or maybe another pick involved. Like a second and a third or something like that, or a second and a future third, something along those lines. If you're talking the Bills, they're late first. 1-for-1, the A.J. Brown, The Justin Jefferson, the Stephon Diggs trade, back in the day. Like, we've seen that happen before quite a bit. So that one makes a lot of sense where that's just a quick 1-for-1. Steelers?
He does not have a no-trade clause for the record.
Nope.
So.
Okay. Something like with the Steelers, the Falcons, they're picking on the earlier side of the first round. Feels a little too rich, so they'd have to get creative in their deal making. Second, and I don't know, like what Pittsburgh has to offer up to Seattle, probably be some like defensive player. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing. With Pittsburgh again. Remember, this team just refuses to invest like a first round draft pick in the draft. So I feel like that would come down to
unlikely.
Would Seattle take a second and like to your point, maybe a kicker, not an actual kicker, but a kick
Not
player.
the actual kicker.
Not Boswell. All right.
Boswell's not part of the deal. They say no. Yes, for Chris Boswell, that's too much.
I want Putney, David goddamn Putney. If you know, you know. I think. I'll be honest. I think to your point, if they got a first, Mike, I don't even think it's a conversation. Like they'll send him wherever the fuck.
Think so?
I think.
How about
so.
if you're
because you have
Seattle,
go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, we saw this work out for one team so far. I mean, we got two instances. I gave you A.J. Brown. I gave you Stephon Diggs. We saw it work out really well for one team and really bad for the other.
Yeah. Well, the problem is, okay, DK this is the last year on his contract. They can get out of it going into next season, right? And he's going to be 28 years old. So the reason I say they'll take it first for sure is you're going to basically at that point get a first. You're sending away a first to immediately give him a contract extension on top of it. Mm-hmm. That's where I don't think the compensation will come from any teams like that, just because it's not just a first-round pick. You got to pay him. He's going to want, he's not going to get record-setting deal, but he's going to probably get top 10 wide receiver money, which is fucking upper 20s, damn near $30 million a year. So I think it's unlikely to come, whether it would be beneficial for them or not. I just don't think they're going to get that type of a trade offer. Where that's where this whole thing kind of gets messy to me. It's I think they're going to actually go through the process of seeing who would purchase. But if you're a team that's going to send away a first and take this guy on, you're going to have to be one of those teams that has a lot of cap space and probably has a rookie quarterback. So like the Carolina Panthers, the Bears, the Falcons, Patriots, right? And does he want to go to a team like that? I tell you this, without a trade clause, they don't give a fuck. They're going to send him wherever they can.
Listen, it's a kind of a pipe dream, right, at this point. And after what happened last week, may or may not actually happen. But, we all just assume because the Commanders got Deebo Samuel that they're done.
I don't think that they are. We haven't talked about that.
Deebo, Terry, and DK. And then they draft a running back, maybe in the first or second round, somewhere in there. Probably the second round. Let's go second round. Thinking Caleb Johnson. I have a huge hard-on erection for the Washington Commanders for the next 4 years.
I mean, you're going to regardless, but this would be like taking one of those pills,
And shout out to T-Rock, Ben Sennett there.
Then I will say this: if DK goes, all the attention. Ben Sennett's going to have a hell of a season, right? Just be wide spanking open.
Dude, if you're the Commanders and you've been such a poorly piss-run organization for years, and you've just been a bottom dweller, at this point, you got some money laying around. You already made it to the NFC Championship game. You just got Deebo. Fuck it, man. We're balls to the wall. Let's ride this thing, right? Go.
Well, what I'm trying to do is pull up the cap space. First of all, it's a myth, one. So if they want to do it, they'll do it.
Yeah.
When I say it's a myth, contracts can be restructured and reworked. The Saints are a perfect example of this. Like the Saints, basically, everybody knows they have credit card debt they can't pay, and they just keep letting them do it. Just get further in debt. Fuck it,
You're fine.
Insane.
They keep taking out payday loans.
They'll eventually have to pay up. They're over there in New Orleans. No, we won't watch this. We're just gonna fucking keep going deeper.
Then they filed bankruptcy.
All right, so
we out.
Cap availability for 25. I think the Commanders have a ton, but that would be
a shit ton.
I think, and the crazy part is, it's a lot of firepower, but I think you could actually make them all work together with their skill sets, right? A lot of Deebo in the slots. I mean, fuck,
Yes.
That'd be
You
crazy.
can make it work.
Okay, so if you're the Commanders right now with a young talent like Jaden that already proved without anyone but Terry, like we just made some serious noise. You sending a first and paying DK to get this done?
Fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck it. I know people are like, this ain't Madden, Mike. This ain't Madden. Fuck you. It can be. Why not? Why can't it be Madden? I won more championships on fucking Madden than all these goddamn owners combined. All right? Eat a dick. I'm him.
I think people probably believe that. So right now the Patriots are a runaway. They have $127 million in cap space available.
Super rich.
So
Super rich.
That one I think makes sense from the beginning. But the Raiders, Pete Carroll again, $95 million. The Commanders are very close to the top, $64 million available in cap space. And I guess the question is, don't you also want to invest a lot into their defense? I mean, their defense just seemed to be something that every game you knew going in, like, hey, we're just going to have to fucking probably go firepower with our offense because that's what our defense is not going to do.
Just embrace the fact that the offense gets all the calls and nobody really plays defense anymore anyways. We scoring 50. All right? You want to beat us, you got to score 51.
The crazy thing is, I think, isn't Terry? So Terry, I think, is going to be 28 as well, right? Or is he going to be 29?
I think he's 29 going on 30.
29 going on 30. But you basically have like probably a couple more years of Terry. You got 3-4 year window with DK and listen.
And Terry's got a game that's going to age well, right?
Oh,
like he's got that Devontae Adams like game. You know what I mean?
Well, and think about it with Terry, where last year, I mean, Terry's and always has been getting prime corner coverage. Hella over the top looks too, right? This would definitely change.
Nobody else aside from his entire career.
Right. This would change the way in which as he ages his like defensive attention. So I think that'd be a good one.
I mean, it's a moonshot, but fuck it, why not? I mean, we're going to talk about all these other pipe dreams that will probably end up, like the Bills, probably end up being a pipe dream. I'd love to see that one, but why not the Commanders?
I mean, why not? Let me just ask you.
I'm sitting here as an Eagles fan going, why not the Eagles? Fuck it. AJ Brown, DK Metcalf, Devontae Smith. We ain't even going to put a tight end on the field. I love you, Dallas Goedert, but, adios. We'll ship you off for a bag of peanuts.
Let me lob in a couple ideas to you here. What would you think of if he goes to Harbaugh's like, fuck it, man, we can't run forever. We gotta throw some more.
Yeah, you could.
And they're towards the top, $65 million available.
The Chargers destination seems like a shitty one. I mean, even when I'm looking at like rookies and potential going there. Until we had Derek on, and Derek talked about the splits towards the end of the year, and you look at the passing splits, they're throwing a lot. Now, unfortunately, in the playoff game, that didn't really work for them.
Yeah, and we also we could be very well looking at them drafting their running back and like, oh shit, okay, what happened?
We were right back to it. We were right back to running. But if the splits were to stay up on the passing side, it's an offense with Justin Herbert. Then fuck it, why not? The only problem is Greg Broman fucking sucks at calling passing plays. He's just terrible at it. Route concepts are fucking. You think DK's pissed off now in Seattle? Wait until it's like DK only got 2 routes for you. It's a hitch and a go route. This is all it's in the playbook. I ain't got shit else, man. Like this is all I got.
What do you think? Do you think? Speaking of Fizz, if Fizz is out there, listen. Sorry, we didn't get the intro at all.
Cowboys?
Yeah, do you think Jerry just can't keep his hands off of this one, right? Like
no, because Jerry's an idiot.
Listen, if you're looking to find someone that's going to send some really nice draft capital and pay the man, I mean, right? Jerry's got
the crazy thing is like Jerry usually can have his pick in free agency too. Like he's got enough.
DB says Joey Bosa's getting released per Shefty.
Adios. $25.3 million in cap space. DK Metcalf, huh? Did you foretell that one? Is that what's happening?
I mean, hey.
Yeah, fucking Cowboys. Why not? Why not the Cowboys? And the only reason I give you why not is Jerry Jones. That's all I got. That's all I got for you. Makes sense.
Yeah,
I need some fucking help. That's not the level of Michael Gallup or Jalen Tolbert or broken down Brandon Cooks.
There'll be some Tolbert lovers just crushed,
You know what I mean? But that's all CD's had, as help. Like, this is what you give me? You gave me Dalton Schultz for a year. Thanks. That was awesome. And then
Yeah.
you gave me something called the Jake Ferguson, which everybody was like, see, we didn't need Schultz. He kind of sucks too.
Let me throw you one last one here. What about if the Giants actually go get a rookie quarterback this offseason and, like, all right, we're kind of in that same boat. We want to have someone else that's not just Malik Neighbors. You put Wandale in the slot, you put DK outside, and you got Malik to do whatever you want.
What if it's the Giants getting a rookie quarterback and signing Aaron Rodgers to like a cheap deal? You know,
I mean, I wouldn't doubt that could happen. The other New York teams like, listen, we want our chance to make it work. You know,
fuck it. You just stay here. You ain't gotta move again. We got you. You think he actually lives in New York?
Who?
Just like rents a place. Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, yes, he probably has. He probably has a place there and fucking somewhere else too. But I don't think he's there full time. No.
Nah. You don't think he's hanging out? New York don't really seem like his.
He's got to go to the the blackout land out in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Do some ayahuasca and shit. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
Good stuff. No, I mean that could work. The Giants could work. That could happen.
I think what'll be interesting to see is what the compensation the Seahawks are asking. I think they might even be able to get a second round pick from a team that's in this position. But if they're like hardcore, we need a first, or we need some kind of a player compensation that gets us to a first. I'm not saying it only takes one team to pay it, right? But I feel like a lot of teams aren't necessarily willing to go ahead and do that. By the way, I'm wearing the DK jersey because I find a way, Mike, to make really good investments when it comes to jerseys. You know,
the best investments ever.
Adam and Mike, I have DK. Do I trade him now or after he gets shipped? Well, all right, I have other questions that are the same, and that's what I think we pivot to. With this news, regardless, right? You think about the situations where he could get traded to or stay here in Seattle. DK right now, what's the most actionable piece of advice as far as exploring trades? If you have them, are you trying to move them? What does the return look like? Are you going out and trying to purchase them on contenders? Like what is DK right now in the dynasty space?
I mean, right now on Keep Trade Cut, he's wide receiver 23. So with that
kind of seems high, actually. Wow,
higher than I thought, right?
Yeah.
But still, when you look at it, it's in the right range. It's in the right range.
No, I'm not saying it's crazy. The way KTC goes, I was expecting, the age dip a little more.
Here's the problem. You trade him now, like, what are you actually getting back, right? Because people are going to be all over the uncertainty. And anybody who's looking to buy into DK Metcalf is trying to get a deal. Like, they're trying to buy low, essentially. So the easiest thing is to say just hold and wait until after the trade. Like, if you're not in on DK or you don't like him or you don't like his landing spot, it doesn't really matter where he ends up going. Like, he's probably getting a bump in value. Right, there's going to be enough storytellers out there like, this is a great spot for him, and here's all the reasons why. And you're going to have big, long Twitter threads of shit to read through. That's going to boost him up just a little bit. But his name will be the hot one in the news after the trade. I wouldn't do it now. I wouldn't do it now, personally. Boom. Corey counting him down. Let's go. 5 months. What up, Corey?
What up, Corey? Yeah, that's crazy. That seems, is that right?
It's nuts.
I'm not gonna lie, I just got a little bit excited. I feel like it's longer than that away. Let's go. 5 months is not that far. Yeah. I think the thing with DK is, like, if you were interested in trying to, like, I don't know if he's even really a great tear down candidate because of where he's sitting, right? Like, what can you tear down to?
These are the wide receivers after him right now. Ibuka, a rookie. We don't know shit.
Yeah.
What up? Jalen Waddle. How confident are you in Jalen Waddle?
I don't think someone will send Waddle for DK anyway.
DJ Moore.
Same picture, probably, right?
Chris Olave with the concussions.
And these probably aren't far enough down for people to actually make these deals either.
Jamison Williams without Ben Johnson. George Pickens. Terry McLaurin. Brandon Ayuk coming off a knee injury. Jaden Reed, who has like 4 games a year and then disappears forever.
Pearsall, who's probably on his way up, continuing still, right?
Ricky Pearsall on the rise. Tyreek Hill. Mike Evans. Khalil Shakir. Jerry Jeudy. Like,
you get to uncertainty in a fucking hurry, you know?
You name one. Like, how much worse is DK than any of those guys? Not much, if any, at all. That's the problem. That's the
Right.
problem.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't think he's.
What are you pivoting to?
Well, the other question is like for me anyway. I don't even say it's a question. I don't think right now this type of news doesn't do enough for him to be like, all right, this is actually a good opportunity to try to tier up either. Like I don't think DK is gonna get you into a conversation to go up high enough without sending again egregious amount of draft capital at first, and you're like, nah, probably just chill. I'm just like, I'll say this. I feel like he's in this middle ground, and Mike, regardless of where he goes, I think there's opportunities for it to be good for his fantasy value. But I feel like right now, outside of kind of threading the needle, he might be a guy that just doesn't have that real warp, honestly, anymore in his career. Like he might just be a name, right?
Could be. We also resigned Terry McLaurin to that fact at one point, didn't we?
That's what I'm talking about. He's got to thread the needle to Terry's level, right? Can he go to a situation where there's actually an improvement? Like New England maybe would be that, honestly. Like
we did this with Mike Evans a couple years ago now. But like we always assume Mike Evans has been what he was. But remember 2 years ago when Mike Evans started producing at a warp level like that, Adam, and we're like, damn, like Mike Evans, what a value. What a value. Like we think his entire career has been rosy, but it really was, 70 receptions, 1,000 yards. Look at this fucking guy. Who the fuck knew he was still alive?
Who the fuck is that guy? He didn't give us a super chat, and I still gave him the cash money on it. I feel like the guy on the right looks like ZZ's top handsy uncle. I love this.
Why do I got to be the handsy uncle? Like, now I'm a pedophile.
What up, Cody? Listen, I'll tell you this. I wasn't for sure, but now I know that's definitely our rip. That's our rip right there,
Hey, we didn't even talk about the jersey, man. I haven't worn this one, and I've had it for like 6 months at this point. Listen, I keep waiting for my man Fizz. I love you, Fizz. But, if I'm going to start losing weight, I got to start wearing some of these fucking jerseys that's just hanging in the closet before they look like hockey jerseys. You know what I mean? Like the full-length sweaters.
You just go old school, man, back in the day. Like when you just wore the baggy jerseys that you couldn't even see your body at all, right?
It looked like crisscross.
Exactly. Just go old school on it.
Shout out crisscross. No, Alvin Mack from the program found this one on like Etsy or some shit. What a deep dive.
Etsy. Wow. That's a nice little pull. I like that. Etsy.
Alvin Mack.
All right. 204 or DK?
DK. Jesus fuck.
I understand exactly where you're coming from, but I bet you those are the type of offers. No, I bet you the question. No, I bet you those are the type of offers that you're going to start fielding for DK right now, which is why, like, for me, would I trade him now? Listen, I will trade basically any player right now. I think he is one player that's just not an ideal candidate, though. I'll explore it, but I feel like you're probably going to get, because the 204 and the 111 right now, for what we know about the class, probably people ain't viewing it much difference. I bet you're looking at a lot of early seconds for DK, and you're I need more.
That's rough. Yeah, that's rough.
Okay, so what would you want in return? Like, what do you think is a reasonable return to where you pivot out of him right now?
106.
Yeah, you in Seattle are gonna be stuck with DK, I think. Well, because what about this one? Right? What about DK and 106 to go get Brian Thomas Jr.?
Do you think that's even enough to get Brian Thomas Jr. though?
I don't. I think that's actually one that I would in this class consider, and the reason is more so because Brian Thomas Jr.'s value is just like asset 15 on Keep Trade Cut right now, and he's young. I'm probably playing 4D chess and just seeing what I can do with BTJ later. But I think I would send the 106 and DK for BTJ on a lineup start 9 or start 10.
Right now, DK Metcalf and startups goes right after the 108.
Which is what round?
7th round.
Damn, how the mighty have fallen. 7th round. Like, I mean, that's okay. A 7th round. Think about a 7th round pick, right? We talk about that's a late first. I guarantee you getting 204s, 203s, 202s all day for this, and that might be a decent offer relative to some shitty ones you get too.
Just for reference, the 204 goes in the 10th round.
Yeah, but what do we know about these pick values? Them bitches coming up until the draft starts.
But the 204 ain't going up that fucking high.
No, I will say last year though, Mike, the 204 got into like the 8th round, and because of how deep the class was, it was ridiculous, right? But
Because you also had 6 quarterbacks in a superflex format.
you did,
That'll do it.
And you had a good wide receiver class. He's like, holy fuck.
Because you know who the 204 was last year.
Bo Nix. It was whoever you got. Bo Nix, Penix.
You were taking no wonder it was in the 8th round.
And if you didn't get that, Mike, you know what you had a chance to get was Xavier Worthy or fucking Ladd or fucking Keon. You know, Keon was the one disappointed.
This rookie class is still shaping up, but I can fucking guarantee you, I would bet my mortgage on you're not getting the 8th overall quarterback, or the 8th overall player in the NFL draft at quarterback in a superflex league with the 204 this year. It ain't fucking happening.
I saw a mock that came on. Here you go, an hour ago. NFL Charles Davis has the first 3 picks as quarterbacks.
I saw that one. He's hammering the quarterback.
I'll tell you one thing. He and you were drinking the Superflex juice. Let's go. You know, we want
to. Charles Davis, big fan of the Superflex.
But even in that scenario, that would be the most ridiculous scenario for what we think about this class. It's 1, 2, 3, and we're done, right? 3 and out.
And you're out. Yes.
Yeah.
You're not getting
3 strikes. You're out of the old ball game.
NFL drafted quarterback with the 204 in this class.
Yeah. What? Right. The 204 is. What are you looking at with the 204? You're looking at basically probably a cross positional trade. Yeah.
Maybe a Judkins, maybe a A.O. Manor.
I think Judkins.
Trey Harris.
Them Judkins days of being a 204, the ascension's crazy.
I'm just throwing out names. Maybe an Ollie Gordon. You're getting a running back,
right.
Or you're getting like one of these wide receivers that we were like, oh, wow. Like, they actually did well at the combine. A Trey Harris. Somebody along that. Right? That's what you're getting.
Yep.
And you're trading DK Metcalf for Trey Harris. Like, I like Trey Harris, man, but you gonna tell me I'm gonna do that shit straight up?
I think I'll tell you. Okay, here, let's play the game, right? Let's play the. Well, aside from the fact that Cody Lewis is stolen our show, and rightfully so.
He's back.
Where is this at here?
He has that ability. He's one of the rare ones.
Dude, listen. He not only has the ability, he's got like that microwave, that talent from like the 2K game. When he turns it on, buddy, it just all things fall. It's like being NBA Jam. Where is that by? Okay, would you trade DK now? Here's I think the way that you're looking at it. Go ahead.
I did want to throw this out there too on Rob's trade, where he said Brian Thomas Jr. or DK in the 106.
Okay.
If you put that in startup terms, you want to get back to some of our old school roots on this one, Adam. Brian Thomas Jr. is an early second, 204 in startups.
Yeah.
The 106, 606, DK Metcalf. 708.
Yeah, it's in a lot. I mean, a lot of times I'm the one that likes to take the package, but I'll say pause. But
First pause of the night comes from you.
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, that had to be like plus.
Can I tell you that's the Cody Lewis effect? As I'm saying that, I'm thinking this guy's gonna fucking go crazy, bitch. I can hear him right now.
Yeah.
But I think in a shallow lineup league, though, Mike, I'd be willing to send those type of players to lock in Brian Thomas Jr. The one thing is, when I know it's the players versus a startup, right? In a startup, I'd be hesitant to send that for that second-round pick because am I going to be able to build my team correctly? Now, if I have the right built team in a lineup league, this is a trade I'd be loving to do. I think, to be honest, Rob, you're going to have a hard time getting it done, though.
Take away the Brian Thomas Jr. thing and make that Caleb Williams.
Man, do you believe or don't you? If you believe, man, I think you do it. Yeah, I think you do it if you believe.
Right. It's one of those things where I say, like, if I put it in startup terms, fuck no. Fuck no, I'm not trading my Brian Thomas Jr. for that. But fuck yes, if I'm in a shallower lineup league that I trade, DK in the 106 to go to Brian Thomas Jr.
Sure.
If it's best ball, that's a different story. I'll always take the fuck it.
Is Rip back?
Maybe. He does this time to time where he comes back. He hasn't been on the show in a long time, but he'll come in the Discord for like 5 seconds. And then
hop in and just say, what's up, I'm alive? Yeah.
Yeah. Like, put on his video that usually stutters, him fucking ripping darts and like popping in his neighbor's garage. And then peace out. That's classic Rip for you.
Dear God. I think what I was going to say though to this point Rob, was if I'm going to trade him, right? Would I trade him now? Here's, I think, the move if you're going to actually try to move off of him right now. I'm looking to find a team that's clearly in the contending mode, right? And I'm looking to say, okay, what does 26 picks get me with DK, right? What does 27 picks maybe even get me with DK? I think the play is the way you're going to get value is to take it further on down the road. Take him out of your roster right now, because I think realistically for most, even if I'm a contending team, DK versus a lot of the guys in the same range, I don't know how much better I feel about DK's production, right? So I'm basically liquidating down the road with the idea I'm going to use those picks later to let that value accrue. I think that'd be the one thing that you might be able to get done if there's a contender out there that smells like I can get this done right now. I can get DK for picks, 2-3 years down the road. They might make a trade like that where you get a first or a first plus.
There you go. Other than that, for me, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'll wait till I get some DK news.
I think you're probably going to be holding, and that's all right, though.
Yeah. He's going to end up like a lot of my Michael Pittman shares. Like, just probably ends up dies on my roster. That's fine. I'm okay with it.
It's all right, Cody. We love you, even if you don't love us, okay? It's all right.
God damn. Look at this guy.
I sent the offer. Okay. Here, he said, I traded 103, 105, and DK for 101 and Ladd in a 10-team, 2-quarterback, extra super flex spot.
So it's 3 quarterbacks.
3 QBs? That at least helps in a 10-team. That'd be the one way you get me to maybe play in a 10-team.
It does. And it actually, I played in one of these before, Adam. And the problem is none of your other league mates really value it as such. But if you really think about it, quarterback scarcity is even more in a 10-team, 3-quarterback league than it is in a 12-team, 2-quarterback league.
Right. Yeah, we played. We did the best ball, three super flex options. That was kind of chaos.
It's nuts, ain't it? And that quarterback scoring was drastically reduced compared to everything else. But you still wanted 3 quarterbacks in those super flex spots. But I'll say this quarterback should be the runaway winner as far as dynasty value goes. Now, most of your league won't treat it that way because they're fucking idiots and they don't know how to use things like the warp tool. Bitch.
Well, yeah, bitch. What are they going to end up doing? And the fact that you have 2 quarterbacks, right, does at least push scarcity further. But when you have that superflex option, a lot of people will just bail themselves out by putting it in.
Now, I say that to say if you traded this with the full intention of, if Cam Ward gets the subsequent draft capital for sure, and you're taking him at 101 and not Ashton Genty, then fucking great move. But I also say that to say that I imagine most of your league mates don't view it that way, so you really could have got Cam Ward at 103, the 105, and still kept DK. You know what I mean?
Well, so here's the thing. What is – let's leave the picks out of it for a second. DK and Ladd. So this is the tier up strategy, which probably right now is tough to do. What is the tier up price? So what is the 5. 105? Okay. So DK and the 105 get you to Ladd.
Yeah.
So if that's the case though, Mike, but what you got you turned the 103 into the 101.
You did.
I will say this is Goose. What's up, man? I see you. I don't know what's up.
You could have had 3 versus 2.
I think
I imagine, not making any assumptions, Goose, but I imagine you made that deal because you're drooling over Ashton Genty.
Well, yeah, you already know what's happening with this trade, I'd imagine.
Okay. She already lost me.
Well, I think what's interesting, even though there is the Superflex and a 10-team, everything's going to be consolidated. Everybody wants to consolidate. So I think I think there's a win from the standpoint of you got the 2 more premier assets in the deal. But when these actually turn into draft picks, and if you draft them, if you walk away with 2 quarterbacks in DK, oh shit, that might be kind of interesting now compared to the 101 in Ladd.
Yeah, I would say Ladd's a reasonable one. The difference between Ladd and Brian Thomas Jr. though should be pretty apparent, right? It should be pretty apparent on people's minds. The big problem I have with Ladd is, what if he does get target competition? I'm not saying he will. We don't know that. But Brian Thomas Jr. can get some target competition, even in the form of DK Metcalf, and I'd still be balls deep on Brian Thomas Jr. because he's that fucking good. I don't know if Ladd is that type of receiver to just listen, I got another dude on the other side of me that's not Quentin Johnston or Josh Palmer or fucking DJ Chark washed up. What do I do?
I mean, well, here's the other thing too. Like, I think Ladd's showed he's really good. I'm not trying to doubt Ladd as a talent player, but does he really have staying power in the top 12 if target competition comes in? Like,
I'm not going to.
I'm not. I would say this, Mike. If target competition comes in, odds of him going up from 12 probably are slim to none, right?
Yeah.
But I think right now this is also, you're getting the more desirable assets at the time. So we'll see what you do with them, Goose. Okay, Dirty Bird. Last offseason I sent DK for this year's 107, 207, and Quentin Johnson. Flip picks 213, Reed and Keon for 101. 14 team, one quarterback. Ugh.
There you go. And it's only a start 8.
Damn.
Got rid of a bunch of dog shit.
He really did. Everything fucking. Ugh.
Like, you want to talk about a perfect format for me to be like, fuck yeah, go ahead, take Ashton Genty and just, do backstrokes.
Bro, 213, Reed and Keon is a fucking. It's a mayonnaise and fucking bologna garbage. That sounds nasty. Like,
well, you sent the 107, 207, the 213, Reed and Keon for the 101. But even if you add in all that shit, it's still, who gives a fuck?
Right.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm with it. Especially in a start 8 league, right?
14 team, start 8 league. The warp on good running backs is going to be through the fucking roof.
Yeah, it's going to be ridiculous. It'll be fucking sky high.
Here's the thing. I mean, there's no super flex, so if you thought there was 2 quarterbacks or even 3 quarterbacks, that 107 all of a sudden doesn't become as appealing as it does in a super flex league. Like, if I look at the 107 in a super flex league, I'm like, outside chance I get Amari and Hampton, but I'll be okay with Quinshawn or Travion or Caleb Johnson or, whoever the fuck else there.
Well, like in one quarterback,
all of a sudden, it starts to disappear.
Right. Well, Goose was saying, like, my quarterbacks are Purdy, May, and Mahomes. One day you'll embrace the horde. We'll help you out there. But
so he's got 2 good quarterbacks and 1 shitbird. Nice.
Yeah, he's got one that's not a quarterback at all. No, but what I was gonna say is, like with the trade that he had, like if you told me this is the 101 versus the 102 or the 103 in one quarterback, I'm a little bit. Amari and Hampton stock's way up. I think there's some other running backs. By the time you get to 107. The difference in Genty and 107 is going to be crazy in one quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay,
absolutely.
109 or Kenneth Walker the third in a Superflex league?
Give me Kenneth Walker.
That's a tough one. I like this class, and I like a lot of the running backs. So the idea of resetting is nice, but I think it's a little bit too far down. I think I'd rather have Kenneth Walker, too.
Right now, 109 in startups is going to 710.
What's Kenneth, 5th?
And Mr. Kenneth Walker is going the 604.
Okay.
About a round early.
He's Kenneth Walker's hung on in that 6th round again. Late 5th and early 6th.
Just chilling, man. We're going to call him Kenneth Walker the 6th.
Nice.
Get it?
I like that.
You like that one?
I do.
That's not bad, huh? Not bad.
I like that. Hopefully Kenneth Walker's aware that they're going into. I don't know if he's aware they're going into a rebuild. DK said, but.
He might not know.
He may not be aware yet. All right. So you watching? Oh, he's adding somebody else. You watching the Bucks game? I am not.
BC
was good. BC. Okay, 12 team. But BC. He reminded me to go get BC's question. 12 team best ball, 6-point passing touchdown. I traded DK in 109. Not off to a great start here, buddy. Purdy, Ayuk in the 410. Sorry if this was answered. I'm faded and watching hoops. Let's go.
Oh, double dipping, triple dipping. He's trading, he's watching hoops, and he's asking questions.
Dude, faded watching college hoops right now, Mike. Sounds like a fucking
amazing.
Go BC. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
March Madness.
Faded watching just about anything.
That's fair.
You know what I mean?
I'm not going to argue. Yeah, if you just told me you're faded and watching whatever.
Like, I'm not a big fan of golf, but I would watch golf on TV.
Dude, I can watch the shit out of some golf when I'm fucked up. Every shot you'd be marveling at. Holy shit.
The injury news on Ayuk has been pretty promising from noted 49ers fan and injury specialist, Jeff.
He doesn't have any bias in the reports.
No bias, but DK down to Ayuk at this point, with the uncertainty of the DK trade punting over, kind of coincides with the uncertainty of Brandon Ayuk's knee injury.
Sure.
in the same ballpark. In this class, as much as I shit talk Brock Purdy, like
dude, this is honestly
I do backflips to draft a Brock Purdy at the 109.
This is fucking. Hold on, I have something for you.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
What's this guy's deal?
I know. Clown question, bro.
There you go.
Dude, the 109 for a legit, as much as Mike talks shit, a legit top 15, 20 quarterback is insane.
Yes.
It's insane.
Yes,
You're telling me it's a best ball 6-point passing touchdown? It's fucking stupid. Here's the crazy part. I don't know why you got this involved in the deal. I don't know if I pray you didn't, finagle over it. How is there a 410 in this? Like,
with the 410.
And why is it on that side? Like, I would have gladly kicked in if you're like, hey, I'll give you Purdy and Ayuk. I would have gladly kicked in my 410. Here, you can have it. How do I get one back?
BC might be one of the only dudes who gets faded and then makes better trades. Right?
You know what?
Know what I mean?
You know what I'm hoping and I'm thinking, right? A lot of times you play with friends, like-minded friends. Maybe one of the friends was really fucked up when they sent this deal. Faded as hell, right?
We're on different levels.
Dear God.
I love it.
Golf in surround sound feels like you're at the goddamn ball.
You're
amazing.
Inside the goddamn ball.
Love it.
And then, as Corey says, BC likes being inside balls.
Pause. Corey, all you do is chase white balls around all fucking day long. All right,
Jesus
I've seen
Christ,
you.
Rob White. Rob, are you just trying to trigger me tonight? Is that what this is?
I actually don't really have much feeling towards 8-team leagues because
Rob's out here asking questions directly to Adam. Doesn't include me, and now he's like, "Let me bring up 8-team leagues." I see what you're doing. It's not going to work. Okay. I'm going to be the bigger man, which I probably am already. Not that you're a small boy, just that I'm fat. I can be self-deprecating too.
8-team leagues?
Bro, I got to tell you a crazy story.
Please.
All right.
Floor is yours.
Usually at my workplace, I'm the one who likes to dish out the insults. Now, I can take them as well, right? I get my fair share. But I usually am very careful to not walk into just getting slammed, like me saying something completely fucking stupid where I was like, oh no, like the perfect setup, that slow pitch softball where this guy's going to hit this fucking thing out of the park. I did it today and I did it in the worst fucking way. I did it in the absolute worst way.
Oh, tell me. Come on. What do we got?
I was walking downstairs and I'm holding a couple belts, rubber belts, right? Just got them in.
Mike holding a bunch of belts. Imagine this. This is a good visual.
I didn't know anybody else was around. I have this weird thing where I love the smell of fresh rubber. Not burnt rubber, but fresh rubber.
Sure.
Right? So I'm sniffing the belt. The guy
you
sees
love Akron,
me.
Ohio. Got Goodyear plant right here.
Exactly. The guy sees me. He goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "I like the smell of fresh rubber." And he goes, "I bet your boyfriend does too." I went, "Oh no!"
Damn.
Oh no!
Mike fucking Mike threw the lob to the guy while he's standing there trying to take a charge.
It was
Damn.
so immediate. God damn it.
Dang.
It was rough.
I was watching a short the other day that kind of reminds me of this, but I shouldn't say it on air because it might get canceled. So I'll save it for another time. We'll save it for post-show. How's that, Rob? You're not invited to that with your 8-team league, our post-show combo, huh? Love you, buddy.
Eat it, Rob.
I can't right now, Mike. I feel like the crazy part is the viewers keep going up. They're not really listening to us. It's just this is a Cody Lewis has the chat domination.
Just sitting here to type.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, man. We really only touched on the DK topic. That was the headliner, and we've answered some questions along the ways. We don't have a lot of questions flowing in. Let me ask you about the combine.
Kind of.
I got to talk to Maddie a little bit about it last night. Our combine recap, biggest winners and losers. How about for you? Like, let me get your opinion. What was a couple of the standouts for you personally from the combine weekend?
I mean, I'll say Tootin was a guy that a lot of people were telling me I'm going to end up getting.
We talked about it last week.
Yeah, we was right before the combine, right? And I was like, I was.
By the way, did you see that clip Redward's made of Salt on last week's show?
Oh yeah, I did 100%. He called the exact time.
4-4-3. Oh my God, Salt. Jesus.
I kind of like everything I saw on tape and everything about him, but I felt like the hype was getting a little bit further ahead than I felt comfortable, and obviously now the horse has completely left the stable. The fucking hype train's to the moon with this guy.
Dude, like, you should have got on last week.
I mean, the truth is, like, if you just adjust your rankings, it's not like any one of us have any fucking say on these players yet, unless you have, like, you know, C2C. But his stock went up tremendously. He's delivering all the athletic traits. I think for me, Mike, Quinshon, I did not expect Quinshon to be 20 pounds heavier than Trev and be barely any slower. If you look at their speed scores, they're the same, if not maybe even Quinshon better. I think him being in the low four or the high 4.4s at 221, I didn't, at least this year, Mike, I didn't see him run away from a soul, buddy. Like, I did not expect that at all.
Don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure Quinshon on RAS score had the highest one out of the combine. Out of any rep.
He's a massive, I shouldn't say massive, because I think a lot of people already like the name of Quinshon, but I think what he did at the combine puts him, for me, he's going to be in my tier 2 now, which is a small list of players. And I think you could make the case for him starting at 102, 103. It
was a double win, too, because patreon.com/South Harmon. We did the film session last Thursday on Travion, Quinshon, and Emeka Buka. And I can't speak for everybody else, but I kind of got the sentiment, and Fizz brought this up afterwards, after the fact on Friday. He goes, when I first joined, y'all were, like, talking all the time. And, like, we were back and forth about what was going on. And when we were talking all the time, it was because we were watching film from Quinshon's perspective. All the cut-ups from him on all 22. Then we went to Travion, and things kind of got a little bit more quiet. Like, it wasn't a whole lot of, oh, my God, did you see that? Or we got to rewind this. So I think a lot of people left that film session going like, we know Travion's athletic and he's got the burst, but as just a runner, like Quinshon was way more impressive on the field. The long speed lacked because we did see a couple times where he would break into the open field and take off and then just kind of run out of gas at the end, right? Like, and just get chased down. And I say that to say, I brought it up in the Discord, maybe he's just so tired from trucking everybody on the fucking field and trying to stiff arm dudes through the turf. his stamina bar quickly depletes, unlike Travion, who doesn't do that. Right? He's able to break away the long ones. So we left that one, and I immediately went to my rankings, and I was like, I had Travion above him. I flip-flopped him. I still put him in the same tier, but I put Quinshon above him. And I was like, if I had a choice, I prefer Quinshon. So then to double dip when we saw the combine, and I was like, oh my God, Quinshon, you fucking animal. Like, you are out here running a fast 40. You weigh a shit ton. You look like a beast. You run fast and you jump high. Like, just keep checking all the boxes, buddy. Every single fucking one of them. So I would say this with the Quinshon thing, Adam. I didn't think it could go much higher. You factor in the combine, he's tier 1. He's tier 1. Tier 1, yeah. So good it put you on mute.
I'm sorry. I had to give Mike the floor. He'll be tier 1 for somebody, I said. We know who that is. Speaking of tier 1, we got Corey in a tier 1 super chat. Give me top 3 Expo. Let me just say the last thing. If you're the one thing for Trev still, though, is I think there are going to be some teams that view him as a true 3-down skill set guy. I don't know that Quinshon runs angry, so for him to have that type of potential speed is nuts. I don't know that he'll have the pass catching upside if all things break right. That'd be the one positive for Trevion Henderson. But I mean, listen, what did I say? The Ohio State guys always run well, man. I did not expect him to be fucking sub 4.5, dude. That's just no.
Nuts. Yeah.
All right. Top 3 Expo memories as he sips Devil's Forge. Go ahead.
I'm not going to put them in any particular order because it's hard to rank for me. It really is. But one of my 3 is going to be that Friday night party where it absolutely just opened up in the heavens and started raining. I had gone to the ATM to get cash out for the evening festivities, and I am walking back with a few grand in my pocket getting poured on and rained upon, and there's a few, let's call them unsavory people without permanent domains. That's the nice way of saying around. And I'm like, this is sketchy as shit. all to be saved by my man Johnny, who pulls up in his little SUV at like the last minute. Get the fuck inside. We'll get you back to the shit house. So that one's always going to stick. Number 2, Adam, the first one at the school with Fizz, meeting Fizz for the first time. And the poor guy just went to go like dap me up, and I ended up just bear hugging the shit out of Fizz as I screamed like a little schoolgirl from like across the room as I ran up to him.
Get the paws on you.
Yeah, get the paws on. And then, man, how about the third one? It's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a real tough. Oh, listen, memories, T-Rock, first Expo at the fucking place way out in the boonies, right? The way out in the wilderness that we had to drive to.
Mm-hmm.
The first time that I put T-Rock's meat in my mouth. No pause. Full send. Those carnitas that first time, that was like Jesus coming down and touching you on the shoulder.
That's the first time that Mike will never forget, you know.
It's the first time I got my cherry popped by T-Rock's meat.
Listen, not just that. I remember Mike, there was a healthy amount of food, and Mike was, let's just say seconds wasn't even a conversation. There was the multitude of plates. The kid was just, there's not enough to go around. It was gone. Like leftovers didn't exist, and the guy fucking cooked his face off. It was insane. Top memories for me that Mike didn't just hit. Let's see. So I'll just say like the 23 year. So not last year, 2 years ago. There was a lot of things that for the Expo that year where you just saw everybody else kind of getting everything that they were wanting or more in life. I'll never forget when Mike and I were over going to, we left our booth. We had a booth that year, right? So we leave our booth, we go listen to the Women of Fantasies. You know, they had a, what do you call that, Mike? I can't think of
panel.
Panel, thank you. Panel.
Yeah.
So we're over at the panel, and I get news that a big timer, you know, stopped by our booth, and I'm like, oh shit, timer. T-Rock's over there, and I know how T-Rock is. T-Rock, he gets his fanboy very high. So like Matt Harmon's, you know, like the gold standard, and T-Rock and Cooper were over there and told him all about the Warp Tool and sold him so well on it that he put it on his podcast the day after hosting and having Justin Jefferson on as a guest. He's talking about the South Harmon Warp Tool. Mike and I weren't even there. Fucking T-Rock and Koopa killed it. Then
just
it was
game.
That was the same day where, you know, T-Rock at this point is having an interview, him and Des Bryant, because, you know, they had 3 different sets of rapport with each other, cash apps, meeting in person, signing. Got to sit these guys down, talk it out, you know. And Fizz is up there during this with the South Harmon shirt, you know, talking about you got to check out South Harmon. I know Des says he was going to. I don't know that he ever did, but the fact that, you know, it's the thought that counts, you know.
It's the thought that counts. We appreciate you, Des.
So yeah, that year in particular, man, was just that was the first year we had the school, and wasn't the last year we had the school, but we don't have the school any longer. So
unfortunately,
yeah, that was
damn you, Gary.
There was a lot of other good memories, but that was all on the same day. It was pretty sweet.
We had quite a few. You know, some that we can't talk about on air.
Oh, and the other really good part there was I think that the way that Cody embraced the quarterback horde that year was definitely top notch. I'll just put it like that, you know.
Oh, that is one of my worst memories.
Oh, one of my best memories. Easy. I remember being like Cody. Listen, I know Mike pretty damn well at this point, right? Like this, you're teetering on the level of comfortability of we're pushing this thing to.
Dude,
them belts we're coming with them belts. We're coming with them belts.
Still to this day, I still love you, Cody. You're still my guy, Rip. But by far and away, the only patron of ours that I've ever wanted to physically fight.
Listen, I saw it in his eyes. He looked at me. That was about to fight.
It was gonna happen.
I honestly thought Mike was gonna hit him. If DK, this is a point I wanted to get to earlier. I'm glad you said this. If DK gets moved, how high does JSN rise? I don't think there's much meat left on the bone.
Yeah.
He's at fucking, where is he at?
11.
Yeah. There's almost, the answer to this question is he's already moving up because of this. Where does he go?
Does he get in the second round of a startup?
That is possible. What is he at right now? Like mid-third? Let's find out here.
Yes, 308.
I don't, because he's gonna have to pass Drake London, Marv, not to mention all the quarterbacks, right? You have to pass
In startups right now. He's going after Garrett Wilson, Ladd, Marv, Drake London.
Yeah, I think like Garrett Wilson and Ladd, you're already probably in the range where he could go ahead of him in a startup easily. But he's gonna have to go ahead of Marv and Drake London, and then probably one of these quarterbacks. Maybe. So that would put him as a top 8 receiver in Dynasty.
It feels too lofty, to be honest.
I will say if they go into a rebuild though, Mike, Seahawks trailing and JSN fucking just slot God, oh my goodness.
Just feasting.
The targets could be fucking stupid.
Could be.
But yeah, still, even then, like that's lofty, my friend, lofty.
JSN or Puka?
Puka.
Okay. Just make sure we're on the same page.
Yeah. He could move. He could rise a few spots at the receiver position, and he could rise,
DK gets traded, JSN
6 to 8 picks in a startup at the most, I'd say.
DK gets traded, JSN or the 101.
101.
Ooh.
JSN or Ashton Genty?
Yeah.
Maybe a little different, but 101 for now.
Okay, for the flexibility, the allure.
You know me too well. Damn,
I
Mike knows I'm a real flexible girl.
Just wish you'd spread them a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah, like the old days.
Like
Speaking of getting faded, BC.
Like prom pictures.
Yeah, prom pictures was fun. What is a fair price to acquire JSN pre and post DK trade? I mean, I don't know that there's a fair price, honestly. He's at a point where you're not trading a fair price for him, probably.
I'm gonna say this. This is probably the biggest mistake I see in Dynasty, just in general. And this is my opinion. I don't know if Adam agrees with me or is on this one too. But we get these little hype blurbs, and we get this little Ricky Pearsall's on the rise, or JSN potentially could be on the rise, or so and so could be on the rise, right? If you come here asking, like, what's the price to pay for them, after that news blurb already comes out and the community already kind of knows it, you're too fucking late to the party.
You're paying the inflation price. You're paying for eggs right now.
The price is don't fucking do it, right? Like, those automatically become like, I'm not doing it. Like, I'm just staying. I'm going to go shop at a different fucking store with somebody who nobody's talking about now. Like, that's the one I want to get. It doesn't really matter if it's like, well, what about the pre-price versus the post-price? It doesn't matter. The fucking price is already on the way up. Like, it's already on the way up. Because his name is in the news cycle and people are talking about it, you're too late to the fucking party. It's over. It's done. This is the thing. Like, in Dynasty as a whole, you have to be there before anybody else is. Before the fucking news even breaks.
Is there, to his point here, I'm with you, by the way. I agree. We're on the same page. With that forward thinking in mind already, like, I'm with you, but at the same point, there will be a bump in his dynasty value. So right now,
yes.
Would you send, in essence, right? Let's say basically the 308 value wise, if you think he's going to go into the round 2, is it worth buying him right now, thinking that there's going to be a little bit of profit to reach in the next?
Probably not.
Couple months. I would agree. I think that's why I wanted to talk about these two things back to back. There's not enough meat on the bone really to even make the risk worth it, right? Like, there's not a flippability of high degree in my opinion here. So to your point,
there's not enough, right? Like when I was, balls deep pause on Jane Daniels, in the mid second or the late second. Right? What was the meat left on the bone? If everything went right for Jaden Daniels, you're talking about the 101. That's a lot of meat, right? We're talking about JSN right now as the 308.
Oh, my God.
You like that one? We're talking about JSN right now. Best case scenario for a lot of people, the 209 from the 308. Like, he moves up around. Like, what are you actually extracting from that?
Well,
not a lot.
Well, here's the other thing. So I have a video coming out, I think it's tomorrow, on BDG, a solo video, kind of talking about this point in general, right? JSN, for instance. You talk about Pearsall. Who else were we just... Brian Thomas Jr., Lad McConkey, right?
Mm-hmm.
What... A large majority of their dynasty value comes from what part, Mike?
The youth.
Their age, right?
Their age.
One of the... You talk about the biggest fallacies. One of the biggest fallacies I see, Mike, is... Or the errors, we should call it. I shouldn't say necessarily a fallacy because people do it, so it's not false. It's just a problem, I think. Or there's a lot more risk than people give it credit for. Right now, you're looking at guys like JSN. You're looking at guys like Ladd. And what you're paying for is not just the production, right? The problem is they had really great production, but they're young. What do we know about basically anybody in Dynasty? Nobody's going to get younger. So when you're paying the full boat price on youth, more often than not, you actually have more to lose than you do to gain because their production every year is going to have to start improving to the point of, oh, are they like wide receiver 1 finishing type? Or if you're paying for Ladd, for example, at wide receiver 11, even in the second half of the year when he was doing really well, that was a wide receiver 11 in points per game. He's going to need to improve on that. Like the expectations for him to grow in value is a lot. So for him to lose, especially considering whether you like the class or not, there's going to be some other young receivers coming in this 25 class that might do something in their rookie season. And then you're also going to have this time next year, the 26 class looming. So when you pay up at the high points for just youth, there's a lot more to lose unless the production starts to meet up than there is to gain.
What you're better off doing, and I want to find and see if I can actually get this, see if Dynasty Data Lab will cooperate here.
Oh, they do.
If you wanted to buy in on JSN, the time to do it was this time last year when everybody fucking hated him.
So actually, here, I have the notes still from the video I did. This is basically a spoiler. Sorry, guys, but go check it out. Mike, so check this here, right? I have all the guys, and this is a perfect example of the youth thing I'm talking about. The 24 class, right? So this time last year, so I did a full startup ADP assessment a year ago versus right now. So you had, in 24 class, you got Stroud at 3, A. Rich at 8. Those guys are now at 22 and 77 for the record. The guys that went up were all running backs, and that was largely just because of the market. But Bijan went up, Gibbs went up, and Achane went up. The only other person that went up in value for the top 12 players in the 24 class, JSN and those running backs. JSN was 58th overall player, and now he's 32nd. So
there you go.
It's, again, though, when you're paying, like, dude, Laporta, even guys like Addison, Zay Flowers. Addison had a nice little year, and Addison went down in value.
Yeah.
I mean,
fucking wild, huh?
Like,
who knew?
Yeah, and then Jaden Reed really has, you disappoint, and the floor can fall out. So it's just, when you're paying for youth, I think a lot of times people try to have this threaded needle mentality, right? You're like, I want to have my cake and eat it too. I want the production and I want the youth. But when you go pay out the nose for that player that's coming off of a really good season and there's kind of this hopium, that hopium can die in a fucking flurry, in a hurry.
You really need to buy for only two fucking reasons in Dynasty. It's either one, they're super undervalued, and their production is way above what they're valued at, right? And normally, Adam, to your point, that applies to mostly old vets, like usually. Now, you can find the JSNs of the world we talked about in the past. Remember when we hit on like Tua, we hit on Trevor Lawrence, when they were a little bit younger, just because of their dynasty value, and then they delivered on seasons and elevated themselves back up into elite territory. Yeah. Usually it's the older guys. Or you're just buying for flat out fucking production. Like that is all you're doing. Like you're just buying for flat out production. That's it. Right? Like you're just, goddamn, Joe Mixon was a 9th round startup pick. Right? I'm not looking at his trade value like, oh, if Joe Mixon does this, then boom, like I can trade it for this. I don't really give a shit. I'm trying to build a dynasty team that's going to win.
So, okay.
If I'm going to buy anybody who's youthful, Adam, it's because they're super undervalued. They're super undervalued. And I'm trying to hit that fucking moonshot out the gate, right? Like, goddamn, people got Jaden Daniels as the 104 rookie pick, right? Like, dude, he could go to the fucking moon. I'm going to buy in now, right?
Why? Because you've seen quarterbacks that have that type of talent and pedigree and draft capital. When they hit, what happens? fourth pick of the rookie draft. You're talking about the fourth pick in a startup, and now the second pick in a startup, right? So, to the point here, spitballing with guys in this specific range. Brian Thomas Jr. I think was more polarizing because of his skill set, speed, and all that. Yeah. Guys like
he only ran 2 routes at this time last year. That was the narrative. He can only do 2 things. Pitches and goes.
Well, hold on. Speaking of DK, he had a pretty limited route tree. I kind of remember coming out.
Sure did.
Anyway, hey, that's neither here nor there. With Brian Thomas Jr., again, he's closer to the pack of the elite guys. But to me, Mike, I think with Ladd and with JSN, you're talking about with this question about what would you pay, what's fair price pre and post. Man, there's so much. Here's the thing, though, Mike. There's so many people in Dynasty right now that want to go buy JSN and Ladd. Please let me have shares, because that's what I'm looking to do. It's really easy. They're in the perfect range, Mike. If I want to tier up, like if I have the team where I can tier up, shit, man, how much do you have to add to go from Ladd or JSN up the ladder to get to the elite wide receivers? Excuse me. And if that's not what I want to do, if it's best ball or that just isn't able to get done. For Ladd's production, right? He was wide receiver 19 points per game, 11 in the back half of this season. Couldn't I get Smitty in a first almost at this point? Like, couldn't I get a player of that archetype, right? Where I'm getting production range, similar ranges of outcome, right? Where their production could be the same, but then guess what I get to do? Take the other value in the form of draft capital. What if I fucking re-roll this into another guy that has value ascension of a Ladd type or JSN, whoever it is, right? Bucky Irving in the fucking third round of startups now, for God's sakes. Like, yeah, that's what I'm looking to do is go. These guys, I think, are in the perfect range to tier up or tier down, given how highly valued they are in Dynasty.
JSN's a perfect one. I mean, you brought up so many options. Like, would you be open? I mean, you're not the biggest fan. I don't know if you've kind of changed your stance here with the playoffs and the Super Bowl, but Xavier Worthy in like a first.
He's another one though, Mike. Get this. He's a wild card because of where his value is. Meaning, in this range, in the 5th round, you could definitely still see some meat on the bone for him to go up. Obviously, you still got Rashee Rice, and you see what they're gonna do. So I think he's a wild card. Here's another little tidbit from the video I made today. Mike, there's 14 players in this class right now. Xavier Worthy, the 14th, in the top 55 picks in startups.
Damn. God damn.
Mike,
what a class.
Right now, the 24 class obviously is killing it, and there's a lot of talent here. People are so fucking far over their skis on youth value, Mike. It's ridiculous. Fam, we're talking right now, just get this. Top 24 picks, 7 are 24 kids. Like, we're just because they're young. Not all of them, right? Don't get it twisted. I mean, don't get it twisted. Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, and Brock Bowers are in the conversation for the best player overall at their position. Like, that's insane. Yes. So I'm not taking anything away from the class as it stands as a whole, but there's just a lot of – here's what I'll tell you. There's a lot of close to peak, even if things hit correctly, for a lot of these players in their dynasty value right now.
There you go.
Anyway, be cautious. But to your point, Xavier Worthy, yeah, if I could go down to Xavier Worthy and get a plus, yeah, because guess what? I might be interested also in seeing – shit, can I go from Xavier Worthy to DK in a plus? Right?
Can I go to Terry in a plus?
Exactly. Now I have a chance to go with production, albeit short, nice little short window.
That's how you take that is honestly how you take a JSN. You wind up at a Terry, with multiple moves, right? Like multiple chess pieces as you move around the board. But you wind up with a Terry, the 106, the 203. And a future 27 first. And you're like,
bam.
Yeah, I took one. If I asked for that from anybody straight up, they'd tell you, go fuck yourself.
Who the fuck are you?
But you take the JSN and you go down to maybe a Zay Flowers or a Smitty like you talked about. And then you take that one and then you go to the next one and you just keep adding on pieces. That's how you make these ridiculous, like completely stacked fucking dynasty teams where it's like, God damn, this dude's winning championships, and then you go look at his picks, and it's like, how the fuck has he got 327 first? He's got 426 seconds. How the fuck is he winning titles and have all these draft picks? That's how you end up with those multiple ones and these multiple tear downs. So just keep rolling that shit, especially when these guys get in the news cycle, and all of a sudden every question on the AMA is like, what would you buy him for? Well,
But the best part, but here's the thing, Mike. Here's the thing. Okay, last year, albeit it wasn't as much as this year, 12 players in the top 67. Okay, so what I know, I can't tell you a year from now what players they will be. I don't know where all these guys are drafted yet. I can tell you though, Mike, there's going to be probably another, even in a bad class, 10 to 12 players that are going to be in the top 70, 50 range. And why? You know why? Jaden Reed, man, fuck. Jaden Reed's the wide receiver 1 in Green Bay. You can't tell me different. Dude's a dog. Everybody projects that after seeing a guy for 1 year because the 1 year thing is such a scary idea just from the standpoint of a few things. One, we might be looking at a window in time where like, oh, that last 6 weeks of the season. Remember the Cam Akers thing? The last 6 weeks of the season in his rookie season. Dude, this is bell cow to the moon, right? Like there's so many players we look at a small window. The amount of guys in this class that were not basically leaps and bounds ahead of where they were in value, they're already on value rises. The only ones that are down are, Caleb, Marv, and Rome because they have just crazy value insulation from the talent. Everybody else is like on the fucking incline. How high can we go? Eventually the roller coaster comes down, buddy.
And it's crazy that you bring those three up. Those are the three guys that I stand for the most as far as fucking buy back in.
Why? Why? Because if there's a candidate to be JSN, like in this class right now, it's going to be Marv, who was wide receiver 43 in points per game, or Rome, who was wide receiver 66 in points per game, right?
Right. Like you imagine if Marv is 18 next year, 15, something like that.
Let's even say, to your point, if he finishes as a top 20 receiver, remember, expectations kind of set the entire world up for everybody, right? Like what we think they're going to do. So Ladd right now is being valued as a wide receiver 1, which means the motherfucker better be a wide receiver 1.
Has to be. Has to be.
So unless he's continuing to do that, like Puka, the reason Puka's where he's at right now is no matter how much we doubted him, the motherfucker just showed up and balled his fucking face off. So that's how you get to elite territory. But unless JSN and Ladd and these guys continue to do that, they're going the other way more than likely.
You know where this one stems from for both of us? I can pinpoint the player, especially at the wide receiver.
Don't go back and give us bad nightmares. What do we got?
Brandon Ayuk for both of us.
You know what's crazy? We were a lot of wrong and a lot of right on Ayuk, but we took the downward spiral for a while there, buddy.
We were dudes buying in on Brandon Ayuk, before because we liked him, right? And then we bought more and more Brandon Ayuk on the rookie rise. Like, oh shit, like he did this as a rookie. Imagine what he's going to do next year. But we bought in at top dollar. So inevitably the fall off was almost guaranteed when he got goddamn Kyle Shanahan's doghouse. We
were taking him at wide receiver 15, right? So he's got to be. Is he going to be wide receiver 10, 5? That's what he's going to have to do to fucking be improving on his stock.
Impossible.
All right, Rob, we got a question from Rob. I got a couple more here, and we'll get out of here. I got to fucking piss like a racehorse. Do I trade away the 101 and in return get the 103 plus? I mean, 2 pluses is I need a running back, full PPR, Superflex, thinking I could still get Hampton at the 103. I think
yes.
I think I would just do this. Depends on what those pluses truthfully are. But
fuck they are.
I do, just because I think there's. You want to talk about the same concept? Genty has so much value to extract. I'm getting that fucking value out of you because I think I can. That's the reason.
I got to ask you too on this one then, since we brought it up.
Yeah.
After the combine, because I talked about it last week. I want to know your true
Hampton
opinion.
Hampton is very close. I still probably put him in tier 2 because of perception, but he fucking closed the gap. I mean, by a lot.
Think it's getting there, right? Like it's.
Hampton, well, because I think what Hampton did solidified him as a first-round pick. I think that's okay. I don't think he gets out of round 1. I think what he did was solidify himself as an NFL first-round pick. So, to me, that is where you really make the gap closed, right? And if he ends up being, you know what, Mike, think about Gibbs and Bijan. This time in their draft, right? Bijan was like, all right, he's going to go top 5, top 10. Nobody saw Gibbs going that close to Bijan, and then fucking Campbell and these guys acting like they just made the best draft pick in the history of the world, which, spoiler, they kind of did.
Do you remember people clouded him for it too? Like the lines are so stupid.
Hello people.
Hello people.
Yeah, anyway, but Yeah, so I think he closed the gap. I do think right now, though, from a perception standpoint still, I got Genty in tier 1 and Hampton would be at the top of my tier 2. I think he's closed the gap, but Genty, the crazy part is like, I don't know, man. This dude is just, whether he's going to hit or not, I can't tell you. But people are so sure of it, dude. It's insane. People are sure as shit.
They are. Hampton killed it at the combine. Fucking absolutely nuked it. And then I started seeing the reports, and there were reports, so I take them with a grain of fucking salt because most of them were bullshit. I kind of touched on this on 4D that dropped today too.
But yeah, I like this, Rob.
The Shedeur Sanders like fucking post or whatever. But I think Hampton's closed it enough. Like these reports are out. Like I've talked to multiple NFL sources and executives, and they have Amarian Hampton as RB1 in this class. I was like, imagine that. Fuck, who knew?
I mean, if he ends up if Hampton goes ahead of Genty in the draft, just y'all can sign off for a little while. You
could disappear.
That's pretty sweet, though. His dad was an offensive lineman for the Bears. So, all right, one last question here. Oh, here, I'll two. BC, his price basically has never moved. He honestly, Mike, he might be the most interesting dynasty asset in the world. Remember that back in the day?
Oh, those commercials? Yeah, the beer commercials with Dos Equis.
I'm getting ready to bring them to the show. I have a segment that I've been working on, but that might be like a perfect segue.
We're going to do the fucked up tweet of the week?
Yes, that's what I'm getting ready to get to. I had a question to get. I got you. We're going to end with it, all right? So, boys, I have the 102, 202, 203, 204, 206, 207. Nice year to have a lot of seconds. I need running backs bad. Well, there's a lot of running backs here. Am I crazy to take Ted at 102 and then just take all the rest of running backs?
Because he's not even the wide receiver one of this class.
I'll tell you, the thought process is not wrong. You just not at 102. Like, if you want to get Ted and a whole bunch of running backs, I think you can do it, but I think you can trade back from the 102 to the 105, 6, 7 range, if that's what you want to do.
I'm not taking Ted at the 102. No fucking.
But that's the point. If you want to get Ted, fine. You just don't just burn the value by taking him at the 102 just because you have it, right? That's the main thing.
You're going to get the running backs with the 202, 203, 4, 5, 6, 7, all your second rounders, right? Like, just earmark that as like, I'm just shooting my shot on fucking running backs. I'm throwing darts at the board. That was a weird jerking off motion that I didn't.
I was going to say that was, well, speaking of.
Oh, my bad. What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
What's this guy's deal?
I know. Clown question, bro.
I thought it was a shake weight. You know what I mean? Remember that one?
I thought it was something different. But, hey, real quickly, Mike, we have a, what the fuck? Tweet of the week.
We do.
When you sent this to me, I said everything that we heard on that video.
I gotta ask, why is DraftKings out here engagement farming?
You see what's crazy? Mike, you see that? That was me. I hit the unfollow button, okay? That's what I did at the top there.
Yeah, I would have too. Like, what the fuck are you guys doing? All right, first off, okay, the hypothetical Micah Parsons to New England trade. I get it.
Mike's still thinking about those rubber belts.
I gotta know who in the fucking right mind thought that Dallas would trade for the 104. They'd send away Micah Parsons, and what they would have, and they would send away their first round pick. Like, they're like, fuck it, we're gonna send you the 12 too.
I mean, hypothetically, Jerry's crazy enough to fucking sign this bill. I mean, he wouldn't do this, I don't think. But here's the other thing. What is at the 4? Like, what is at the 4? What are we getting here?
Dude, Abdul Carter, maybe. Possibly.
Isn't the hope that he's going to be Micah Parsons?
Exactly. Like, isn't it a hit if he's close to Micah? If he's 90% Micah Parsons, you're like, fuck yeah, great pick. But like, we need to send the 12 too.
But obviously the price is just, the sticker shock is just. This is one of those trades that when I read, like, should I have made this trade? Did I make the right move? You out here flexing, bitch. What are you doing? Like, this is so egregious. But also,
yes,
the context is lacking. Like, we're just doing this right now. They just want to get the 4th right now. They already got their quarterback. They aren't trading up for a QB. What are we doing here?
You know how, I might be alone on this island, but the general sentiment, at least in the Savage tier, is that the injury analysts should probably stick to doing just injury. I'm going to go out and say it. Like, the sports betting people should probably just stick to sports betting. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. This is a bad trade in real life. This is a bad trade in Madden. This is a bad trade in fantasy. It doesn't matter where the fuck it is. This is a horrible fucking trade.
I think this
for the
has
Cowboys. For the Cowboys, and I hate the Cowboys. I would love if Dallas made this trade. You'd be fucking great. Good job, Jerry.
That's what I was just getting ready to say. I think the guy Silence, shout out to Silence, the burner account. Somebody really wants New England to take this rise again into stardom. In a hurry. Micah Parsons in the 12. Both these teams have a QB. Both these teams have a quarterback, right? And the other part, the team is trading away Micah. If you have your quarterback and Micah Parsons, there's nothing at the 4 in this class. It's just insane.
Let's go, man. Just swap the 12th pick for Joe Milton. Welcome back, Joe Milton, to the show.
I will say that if we do this, buddy, Silence will no longer be Silence, and he will come gloating his fucking face off.
That's Joe Milton's burner account for sure. Guaranteed.
Well, that's a good little segue because this is how you end a stream. This is how you end an account. This is how you end social media and burn it to the ground. We love you.
I don't understand why does DraftKings need a fucking engagement farm? They got commercials every 5 seconds on TV.
I'll tell you what happened. They got their little graphic department, right? They're like, listen, this looks really good. This Micah Parsons in the New England. Here, somebody cook something up to put it on Twitter for us. Like, you just forced this picture in there. What the hell is this about?
Yeah, they did.
We love you.
Somebody cooked this up in the shitter and we're like, we got to use this.
Hold up. Let him cook. We love you. We'll see you back here, same time, same place next week for Wednesday AMA. We're out of here. Peace.